Last time I was working in here, that was in winter when it was -4, -5 outside. I installed here the sport lid, whatever, and it's been great and really like it. It's been the best upgrade I ever did to this truck. But yeah, it's dirty again. I'm sorry, but yeah, look at all the pollen stuff. You know, it just, you'll wash it and the next day it looks the same. But there's gonna be something special happening to this truck, and that is it is gonna get a detail. A friend of mine does detailing, and he will detail it on well, next week when I'm in the Netherlands. So the plan for today is finally, after all this time, half a year almost, installed this goddamn protective thing, because right now it has nothing on it, and yeah, it does show. So you saw me back then when I struggled installing this, and this material is awesome. You know, it has this kind of little bit of a texture, so the stuff doesn't roll around and move around as easily. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with my upgrade so far. And the only thing that's, you know, kind of unfortunate is that we have no, you know, cover on this thing. So there is this problem that I don't have enough screws. As you can see, I only have 2 where there should be 5. Now, I went and installed all the ones here because those were the ones that were missing. It's not that I messed them up or lost them. That was, I don't know, they were just never there. So I kind of installed the least important screws here just to keep it down and make sure that this side with this metal on has all the screws. And so I'll have to get screws, but I think we can install this regardless, because the screws, you can always put them in, you know, it's not a big deal. So yeah, that's one thing. And next thing is, after, you know, all the time driving and you know, opening, closing, all the vibrations, those screws became loose again, which I might have not fastened them good enough, or I should have fastened them like after a while, but I didn't. So they went loose, especially this one came out really far. And I also found maybe not a design flaw of this whole sport lid, but just a thing you have to know. What I used to do often is, like, when I close the bed, I would grab it here, but that's actually not a good idea, because there's this metal underneath which then gets bent, you know, because it has to carry all this weight of the bed and stuff. It's really not meant to be, you know, used like this. And so, yeah, I bent it back, and, you know, you don't notice it. And it's not a big deal. It needs tightening, that's all. The rest of the screws, I'll just make sure to tighten them as well, but those, you know, they are so solid. Like, this thing is not going anywhere, so I will not worry about them so much, but those are important. Boy, that thing was really loose. So screws are tightened again, and this one, yeah, I messed with it maybe a bit too much, but it's now secure. Probably not gonna bother us for the rest of, I don't know, the year, hopefully longer. Like this. Yeah, this is the underside for sure. Ah, yeah. So the instructions say that you cut off this whole section here, so you know that it can clear this metal bar and, you know, just work out. But a friend of mine said I should try something else rather than cutting off this whole thing. It was actually not a bad idea from him. Just cut out this here so that the slam latch like clears this, and then you have the whole protection, because yeah, you're kind of giving up quite a lot of the material for just this to be exposed, which, you know, also gets kind of mangled, as you can see. So I suppose we're gonna try that for sure. And then, you know, just use the screw holes and just kind of, you know, screw it down nicely. Now, you either get the right tools, but I never do that. Never seem to have them around when I need them. So you improvise. I used here this as like a ruler, make a somewhat straight line with the knife here, cutter knife, and I measured, and it still needs to go on a little longer, but I just stopped there, and I'm gonna saw in all the way to this this thing here, and then probably across and see if it will clear it. If it doesn't clear it, I'll just go in a tiny bit longer, but I suppose it's not even gonna be necessary. 9 centimeters, and yeah, it should end around there, so we will see. This flaps around way too much. Who would have guessed? How do I get it across? Do you really have to drill it out? Put like the saw in there? Okay, it did really work. Got somewhat of a decent cut with the knife here, but don't do it. It's not supposed to be done like this, and as you can see, it's a little crooked, but don't worry, we'll file it, make sure that it's all nice, but let's do a test fit, yes. Oh no. It is too narrow. I'm holding it down now, and the screw holes, they do line all up. So yeah, I went even in too far, and maybe we could take like a little bit of something off on the left side, but yeah, that worked relatively good. So what I'm gonna do now is file off here this, so it looks a little nicer. But yeah, overall I think that was a success. This might just work fine. I mean, it's gonna be bent a little bit, but it's not really the end of the world. Look what I did. Put a little style into this, yeah. It should detract you a little from this fail here, but guys, it's fine, it's all fine. So I had a look, because obviously I don't remember anymore, it's just so long ago, how this gets mounted, and it's pretty simple. You put in those and then the screws, and that's it. And she's somewhat shining again. Yeah, unfortunately there are definitely some marks that I made in here, but you know what, it's a truck after all. So, and this gets covered up in any case now, but still it's good to preserve it, at least in this status, because it's really nice, as you can see. So let's put out those 2 screws and install it and see how it works. Those are the screws. They're just those regular Phillips screws with a washer. So I think I can organize myself this diameter. I'm just gonna measure it, make sure that I get the right ones, but yeah, shouldn't be too hard to come by. Here are the measurements I took. It's a 1.3 centimeter head, half centimeter wide screw, and around 2 centimeters long. So I'll have that noted. That's good. So we can use them, and don't have to kind of screw them out again. There we are, folks. Well, I really have to get that middle one ASAP. Probably gonna do that tomorrow, because that one is really the one that will keep this down, and yeah, it will look better. But look at it. Here it is. It's installed. Will this thing still close? I don't know. Well, it did close, although I heard some grinding. I'm so paranoid about this tailgate wheel. Ever since I, started assembling this and it would never close, I was always like on the hunt for possible reasons. But look at it. This doesn't hit anything. Got a big guy. There it is. Closed. Why didn't I do it earlier? Always the same with me. Make sure to grease this stuff so that it keeps operating as smooth as it does. After all those winter months, doesn't hurt to do that. But this one's still excellent, so we'll not worry about it. So, and this was another episode of me wrenching on this truck, even though I did nothing super special and nothing exciting at all. That's just the reality. Sometimes you have to do these things which really are not exciting but help out a ton. So, I have to find this screw. It's not even done yet, and this is also not perfect, but if this is, when this is all the way down, nobody's gonna even look, so it's all fine and good.